Matt here, coming to you from the shopping cart parking lot at the Ainsley Homeless Village. Right, not everyone here has a car, but if you need transport and you need to move some things, you can always take a shopping cart if you're willing to go full hobo. Either way, it is the 23rd of September 2025, and this is Taco Admin. Orders of business. One, I was confused if I was going to give this one as a personal update or as Taco Admin, but I need to describe the network of relationships which is involved in parts of Taco, which is the sort of the interpersonal romantic side, I guess, and then I need to discuss the also, but more importantly, before I get to that, I need to describe my deep concerns regarding Humanity Health Group. So what happened is that myself and my middle manager, who was just not cut out for the caseload we were working on, she's a child psych, she's a developmental psychologist, and she's not really up for management, if I'm honest. She's not terrible, she wasn't good, and more than anything, she wasn't really that responsible or understanding what was going on, what it's like to be a man in this profession. And what she did is that she manufactured and played up a situation where there was no child safety problem. There has never been a child safety problem. And she did this to try and marginalize me, right? And this was more done by upper management, I think. To be honest, she was such a hack that I don't really think there was much you can't really be disgusted with a person like this because there's nothing really there to be disgusted with, good or bad. She doesn't have the moral agency, I guess, to be someone that I can have contempt for. I can have contempt for the lack of moral agency, but she's caused me a whole lot of problems. And the most important thing for me is to make sure that none of the relationships and none of the participants who are a part of this thing have any association with Humanity Health Group. Okay? I complained about some of our billing practices, then my management stopped talking to me. I'm sure they've manufactured some story that they can live with about these things, but that is what happened, okay? So what I'd like is that there's a very good psych at Catholic Care, Marymead Catholic Care. Her name's Amy. We're friends, but we're not so close friends, and it's just because we don't really know each other too well. But she's going to be able to work through this situation, provide case management, and because she's got some experience as a behaviour therapist in the NDIS as well. And she is also going to be impartial. And that's the biggest thing, is that these people, they did this to me so that they could maintain control of a situation, and me. It's a massive conflict of interest, and we can't have Sarah Samuel or anyone at Humanity Health Group having anything to do with my participants or people who have been involved in the Taco project. They have done some pretty heinous shit. Honestly, they have done the equivalent of slavery, modern day slavery, and they need to chase the consequences of that. But before we get to that part, the ability for them to cause me further harm needs to be taken away. And there is a massive conflict of interest here. They created this situation, a large amount of it. They can be held accountable for it. And in the meantime, under no circumstance can they be allowed to continue facilitating this situation. So that's why I recommend Amy at Marymead Catholic Care. I rate her as a professional, and I'd trust her to take care of this situation. I'd hope that she would silo things, because I did piss off some of the management there as well. Yeah, it's a trend, eh? But look, we get Humanity Health Group the fuck out of this situation as fast as possible. They've committed some pretty atrocious acts, and it's going to be remembered in the history of industrial relations in Australia. So there's that. So that's point of order 1. Point of order 2 is that I can't be pushed into a monogamous relationship because of the nature of this project. And it might be like at the end of this, when I talk to my friends and people who I care about the opinion of, we might go like, hey dude, we need to untangle this, right? We need to simplify things. But at this point in time, I have these very important and intimate relationships with several different women. They are important to me, and if I go straight down and lock myself into something, that's going to cause political problems. And these people have provided so much care for me during a very turbulent time. They've provided great public, they've provided an amplifier through public relations and like the general breakdown in social norms regarding relationships, which has allowed the message that we're trying to get out, okay? By violating this social norm regarding relationships, we've allowed this thing to happen. It gets attention to the project. I do not promote this as a lifestyle. Of course, I'm not really I don't get to enjoy these relationships because I'm kept in a very tight chamber. I've had most of my rights taken away from me without any kind of ability to fight back against it. It's been a massive miscarriage of justice. And my life hasn't been able to progress because of it, right? But until I can't, do not force me into something before I can see the lay of the land, and don't expect that of me yet. Maybe don't ever expect that of me. So that's the second point of order. I also want to reiterate what our message is. So the biggest one is that we want democracy to function. We want there to be responsible government, which is where the will of the people down the bottom translates to policy being created based on what the people want. And the best way to do that is to have, you'll have like not an electoral district, trying to remember the technical term, but your seat, your parliamentarian will have a seat, your vote goes to the parliamentarian, the district is representative of the people. It's not some jerry-rigged cut-out side of thing designed so someone always wins an election on one side. It's meant to be a good constituency. So, and then your member is meant to provide policy for you. In countries like the United States, that just doesn't happen because there's gerrymandering. So electoral districts are all cut out such that one side will always win. It's a very corrupt system in the United States. And we're really wanting that to be fixed if possible. But within Australia, we're trying to defend ourselves against that because we've been watching what's been happening in the United States and it's been terrible. A big part of the Tac0 story was the horrific behaviour by Humanity Health Group, where they had spyware on my personal computer. We're also fighting back against how these industry is starting to treat us using technology as feudal serfs, as slaves, really. So we're trying to fight back against that. We're trying to promote good taxation in Australia so that we don't have a situation where we have the ultra wealthy having a massive power imbalance, which is also something which we've seen in my case, where I've been forced to live in a fucking homeless shelter because of the abuse by these people and misbehaviour by members at Humanity Health Group. And that's the message that we're getting out. A big part of it was also corporate espionage in the relationship corporations have and private sector has in our government. As I showed, because I used to do corporate espionage, where we used to fuck over people on insurance claims by spying on them. So a lot of these behaviours are quite fucking crazy. We live in a dystopia, and I'm trying to get that message out. So that's why we've had these interrelationships, this strange kind of transgression has been quite useful, okay? And another side of that, though, is that these women are also women who have who do have very meaningful relationships with me, so I have a responsibility to that. I'm particularly because there's vulnerable people in this, Ms. Pink and Ms. Purple. I have a significant responsibility to those particular women. So everything needs to be handled delicately, and that's why I'd like Amy at Catholic Care to be responsible for the case management and things like that. It needs to be taken as far away from Humanity Health Group as possible. So that was that point of order. The other thing is we need to talk about just my situation as well. So like I do not live a glamorous life, right? I've had all forms of traditional social status taken from me. Materially, I'm a bit of a loser, and I don't really do much. Like, this is the result of slavery and abuse. Okay, this isn't me who's made this happen. And I look at people like Jake, who was this just strange guy at my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, and like, he needs to understand, to me, I don't care if he lives or dies. Like, I'd probably prefer it if he lived, but he's irrelevant to me. Like, I have these people who just kind of slot themselves into like a pecking order or something, and like they feel good when they're doing better than me and they feel worse when they're not. It's like, it's completely irrational how he's behaved. It's all been very silly, right? I don't care, Jake, right? Just fuck off. And I need to drive that home. So like, even now when I live in a fucking homeless shelter and have all these material things taken from me, I still have people who are who like see me as like a threat or something to them in some internalized pecking order. And it's just so silly. It's so silly. Stop it. Okay. And that's most of my video for today. Look, I might tack on a personal update later on. Have a good day, everyone.